Hi, kindergarten friends. I hope you've enjoyed drawing some lines in different directions. I've seen some work posted on my Google Classroom, and if you haven't posted it, you don't have to. You can mark as done. Click the button that says mark as done once you finish it. And that was just kind of random lines all over the place. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do what's called a pattern. So what is a pattern? Well, it's a design that repeats, right? Okay, so we're not going to use the full sheet of paper. This is a piece of copy paper like you would use at home, on the copier or the printer. So we're going to fold it in half. And if you have trouble with this, get your parents to help you. It's not that hard. But what I always do is I always make sure I put one corner to the next corner like that. You can actually pick it up and then squeeze it together, and that kind of gets it started. And then if you lay it down, you just push it like that. Okay. So we're going to roll it around this way, and we're going to do that one more time. So this kind of sometimes it gets a little tricky because the folded side wants to do its own thing. But like I said, all you got to do is put your corner to your corner, and then right there you can even put your finger inside and pull it, and then squeeze it. Okay. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want you to do a pattern on a full sheet of paper. It would take too long. We're going to open this up. So now we have like a little book. Okay. So on this side we're going to do what's called an A-B pattern. Okay. A-B. Now I'm going to pick two colors. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to pick red and blue. And so then I'm going to think about the lines that I showed you. Okay. I'm not going to pull up the picture. I'd have to find it, but you know what picture I'm talking about, the poster that I showed you. So if I want to do a loop-de-loop, okay, and I'm going to start with red, I'm going to start right up here at the top, and I'm going to go right to the fold here. So I'm going to do a loop-de-loop like this. Okay, right to the fold, and then I'm going to stop. So then I'm going to use blue as B. Okay. Now one thing you could do, if you wanted to, is you could label this A. If you want to put an A right there. Okay. And then let's figure out what are we going to do for B. A broken line, a zigzag, straight. Doesn't matter. So zigzags are cool. So I'm going to do zigzag. Okay. All the way across. Alright, and that's going to be my B line. Well, if this is an A-B pattern, what am I going to do? What did I say earlier? What was the R word I used? Repeat, right? Yes. As a matter of fact, on another piece of paper here, I'm going to write that word down. R-E-P-E-A-T. Okay? Repeat. So that means what? To do something over and over and over again, right? Alright, so that's what a pattern does. So our word of the day, that was one word, and then we've got pattern. Okay? And we're doing specifically an A-B pattern. Okay? Alright, so if A was a loop-de-loop in red, then that means I've got to do the same thing, right? Exactly the same thing. So here's A again. And I don't have to write the letter A every time. I just did that just to know what my A and what my B was. And just so you remember, this is an A-B pattern. Okay? So what are these used for? What are patterns, not just in art, but in other places? Maybe in clothing. You ever seen a pattern in a dress or a shirt? Okay? I'm going to show you a little trick I learned about doing a pattern, especially with markers. Since you're going to be using the markers, now you could do it with crayon. You could do this with colored pencils. With the marker, though, these caps will. You see that crayon come rolling across? I guess he wants me to use it. It wants me to use it. It's saying hello. That was funny. we'll use this one next. Okay, we're gonna do another pattern right here in a second. Okay, let me move that out of the way. That was kind of funny. I love that color though. That metallic. It's kind of a metallic green color. Okay, fun things happen in art. Weird things sometimes. Okay, fun and weird. So these caps will fit on the back of your Crayola marker. I'm sure most of you know that. So when you're doing a pattern like this, you don't really need to take the marker. Like I was doing, I was taking the marker cap off and putting it back on. And that was just because I forgot to do this. You know, art teachers forget things sometimes, and sometimes I do. But anyway, so we're back to B here, because I know B is my zigzag. I'm looking right at B. There's a zigzag, so here we go. Okay, and you want to do these kind of close together too. You don't want to like go A and then go way down here and do B and leave a big giant space in between, because then it doesn't have the cool effect of a pattern. So you kind of want to, and you want to keep them the same. I know that loop-de-loop's kind of running together. I need to hold my marker up a little bit. So sometimes it's the way you hold a tool. Remember how I told you about, you know, holding a marker at an angle? So you're going to get a wide line, which that's cool as long as you do it the same way every time, okay? But, you know, holding it up like this, you know, you're going to get that thinner line. That's kind of what I was going for here. So how many more do you think I could fit here? You think I could fit a zigzag and a loop-de-loop? You know, I probably could if I really squeeze them in, but I don't want to try to like make them smaller. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the last one to make it a B right here, and I think that's fine. There we go. Okay, so that's kind of cool looking. All right, now on this side over here, what I want you to do is I want you to turn the paper this way, okay? And we're going to do another pattern going down this way. We're going to use a different material though. Let's use some crayons. And I'm going to do something a little different with this one. Let's see, there's that one that said hello earlier. It rolled across and joined our little art class here. Let's see, I don't really want to use something really close to that color. I kind of want to use something different, kind of like the red is. And we'll get into talking about the differences in colors another day, probably when you're in the art room, because red is considered a warm color, you know, because it's kind of comes from fire. It resembles fire or something hot. And then blue is called a cool color. So again, I don't want to get into that in this lesson, but I mean, again, you can use, like, these are two cool colors, blue, purple, and green. And these are metallic. I don't know if you saw these last time, but when we were doing the lines. All right, so here's what I want to do for this one. And for the first, for up here, I want to do AA, okay? I'm going to do two A's, and then I'm going to do two B's below that. B, B, okay? All right, well, let's see, what am I going to do for this? I think something simple, you know, a wavy line. Whoops. And so what am I going to do next? Am I going to go to B? No, I'm going to do A again, because this is an AABB pattern, right? So I'm going to do A again, and I want to try to do it the same. I want to try to keep it the same. I don't want to make it a different wavy and start doing something different. And I certainly don't want to pick a different kind of line for A, because I've already chosen A. All right, for B, let's do a dotted lines take a little bit longer because you're having to color in little dots. Because with crayons, you know, you do one little dot and it's not going to show up that much. Okay, so I would, if you're going to do a dotted line, just kind of color in, you know, the little circles all the way across. I'm going to do a broken line for B. B for broken. Okay, like that. Look at that. And again, you want to kind of keep these close together. You know, you don't want to skip way down and leave too much of a space. But don't put them too close together, or they will run together and you won't see the difference in the two. Okay, so there we go, AABB. All right, so I'm going to repeat that one more time to make it a pattern, because right now it's just AABB. It's not really, I mean, it is starting a pattern, but in order for it to be a pattern, you got to repeat things twice. So this time I'm not going to do the letters because I already know. And I'm doing the AA. And then I'm going to do BB. Okay. So now let's look at the bottom of this right here. Could I do AA again? You know, it looks like I could. I want to fill the space. I don't want to leave a big blank space right there. So I think I will go ahead and do AA one more time. All right. And that's it. Now we're going to turn this back sideways like the book, and let's look at what we have here. Look, that's what they like to do. My table is not level. It's probably the problem. It's leaning or something. That's making things roll. All right. That's kind of neat looking. So we got one pattern going this way, or going across this way, and then look what happens when we turn it sideways. So the cool thing is you can turn it different ways, and it does, you know, it looks different, you know, every time you turn it. And you might start to see things in this, like maybe this is like a river bank and this is water, you know, or a river going through. I don't know. Reminds me of an old video game where a little frog had to jump across the, I think it was called Frogger maybe, but it was a little video game I used to play when I was a kid, and the frog had to jump across and cars were coming, and you had to, you know, escape the frog had to escape all that. Anyway, so that's just funny how it makes me think of different things. All right, well, so you have the weekend to do this, and here's something. If you want to turn it over, you've got two blank sides here. If you want to, you know, if you want to make a cover and say my pattern book, you know, you don't have to do another pattern, or you could do a little pattern, you know, whatever you want to do for that, and date it, put the date on it, you know, draw a cool picture, or do a line drawing. You know, I can think of many ideas. So that's what's fun about art. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I hope you've had fun. And if you don't get to this and you've only done the line drawing, that's okay. This is something we're going to be doing in art class. So if you, like I said, if you don't get to this, you know, when I see you next time, we'll be working on pattern. All right. Take care.